Ever notice how BTS members have these little quirks that just break the internet every time? From accidental habits that ARMY has turned into full-blown memes to behaviors so specific, fans can spot them in a 2-second clip. These aren't rumors. These are real, documented habits caught on camera again and again. Stick around because number 1 is so ridiculous you'll rewatch it twice. Number 7, the king of dad jokes, Jin. If you've spent more than 5 minutes in a BTS variety segment, you already know this one. Jin cannot resist a pun. Across Run BTS episodes, BangDAN bombs, and even live broadcasts, Jin drops jokes so groan-worthy that his members have developed an entire reaction system just for him. Eye rolls, fake laughs, and members literally covering their faces in secondhand embarrassment. This isn't a one-off bit either. It's a habit that's been documented for years, consistent enough that ARMY started compiling Jin's dad jokes compilations with hundreds of thousands of views, effectively turning a personal quirk into its own subgenre of BTS content. What makes it fascinating from a behavioral standpoint is the pattern. Jin doesn't just tell jokes when he's asked to be funny. He inserts them mid-conversation, mid-interview, sometimes mid-performance-related discussion, almost involuntarily, as if the pun-making is wired into how he processes a room. During Run BTS games, when tension rises or the members get competitive, Jin often diffuses the moment with a pun rather than a comeback, which the other members have openly admitted throws off their focus. Suga, RM, and Jungkook have all been caught on camera visibly trying not to react, only to break within seconds. Jin's own justification for it, stated multiple times across V Live and Run BTS content, is that he simply enjoys making people laugh, even if the laughter is at the joke's expense rather than because of it. Beyond the constant punning, this ties into another well-documented part of his personality, his self-appointed title of Worldwide Handsome, which he introduced himself with during a 2017 press conference and has repeated jokingly ever since. It's become inseparable from his identity, equal parts confidence, self-aware comedy, and branding that ARMY affectionately embraced rather than mocked. Combined with his habit of ending interactions with an exaggerated flying kiss gesture, a signature move he's repeated at fan meets, award shows, and broadcasts for years, Jin has built an entire persona around comedic self-assurance that distracts everyone around him, members included. Interviewers have noted that trying to keep a serious conversation on track with Jin in the room is nearly impossible once he senses an opening for a pun, because the moment he delivers one, the entire mood of the segment shifts, and getting the conversation back on topic takes visible effort. Fan-recorded moments from tours across multiple countries show the same pattern. Jin waits for a lull, drops a pun in whatever language fits the room, and watches the chaos unfold. Even during solo promotions for his 2022 single The Astronaut and later releases, journalists specifically asked him about his joke habit, confirming it wasn't just internal BTS content. It had become a defining, recognized trait of his public identity. It's a habit built on timing, confidence, and a near total disregard for whether the joke actually lands. And that unpredictability is exactly why it keeps working. You can't script when Jin will strike, and that's precisely why ARMY stays glued to every clip, waiting for the moment he ruins someone's serious answer with one perfectly timed dad joke. Number 6, the human wrecking ball, RM. Somewhere along the way, BTS's leader, a certified genius with an IQ reportedly around 148, fluent in English purely from watching Friends, earned the nickname that has nothing to do with intelligence and everything to do with sheer chaotic clumsiness. ARMY and the members themselves call him RM destroyed the universe, and it's not an exaggeration pulled from nowhere. It's a running, documented pattern across years of BTS content. On multiple episodes of Run BTS and various reality segments, RM has been shown accidentally breaking props, malfunctioning equipment, and household items during simple tasks to the point where members openly joke that giving RM anything fragile is a guaranteed disaster. The habit isn't violent or intentional, it's almost the opposite, a kind of gentle, absent-minded destruction that happens when his mind is clearly somewhere else, usually deep in thought. Bandmates have said on camera that RM gets so focused on ideas, lyrics, or conversations that his physical coordination seems to disconnect entirely from what his hands are doing, leading to incidents fans have turned into an entire compilation genre. What makes this genuinely distracting for ARMY is the contrast. Here's a member who can write introspective, philosophy-driven lyrics, reference Murakami novels in interviews, and deliver speeches like the one at the United Nations in 2018, and yet in the very next clip, he somehow knocked something over just by existing near it. This juxtaposition is exactly why the destroyer persona stuck so hard. It humanizes someone viewed as the group's intellectual center. During Bon Voyage and Run BTS trips abroad, camera crews specifically started keeping an eye on RM whenever new equipment was introduced, because the pattern had become predictable enough to anticipate. Members like Jimin and Jungkook have laughingly recalled specific incidents on variety shows, treating it less like an annoyance and more like an inside joke the whole group has embraced. Even RM himself has acknowledged the reputation directly in interviews, admitting he's aware of the meme and finding it funny rather than trying to shake it off, which only reinforced its staying power with fans. It's a habit rooted entirely in real, camera-documented moments rather than fan speculation, spanning years of content across different shows, countries, and settings, which is exactly why it never stopped trending. And the fact that it's tied to someone so publicly recognized for his intellect and eloquence, someone who represents BTS on global stages, makes every new destruction moment hit differently because it reminds ARMY that even their most articulate member has an unpredictable, endearingly human side hiding just behind the mic. Every time a new clip surfaces showing RM causing some minor chaos without even realizing it, it reignites the same reaction across fan communities. Equal parts disbelief and affection, because nobody, not even RM, seems able to fully explain how it keeps happening. Number 5. The one-man hype machine, J-Hope. If there's one habit that's impossible to miss once you notice it, it's this. J-Hope narrates his own life out loud almost constantly, whether anyone's listening or not. Across countless Run BTS episodes, backstage clips, and BangDAN bombs, cameras have repeatedly caught him talking to himself mid-task, hyping himself up before a dance move, or reacting to his own actions like a live commentator covering his own performance. It's not scripted and it's not for attention. Members have pointed out on camera that he does it even during quiet, unfilmed downtime, which is exactly why it stuck as one of his most recognizable traits. This habit connects directly to something BTS members and ARMY have discussed for years, J-Hope's role as the group's emotional anchor, a title he's earned through consistent, real behavior rather than branding. During stressful moments, tight schedules, high-pressure performances, or tense group discussions during Run BTS games, J-Hope is frequently the one who breaks tension with sudden bursts of positivity, often talking himself and the group through it out loud in real time. Suga and Jimin have both remarked in interviews that his energy is contagious, precisely because it's unfiltered, not performed for cameras, but simply how his mind operates under pressure. His dance breaks are another well-documented piece of this puzzle. As the group's main dancer, J-Hope frequently breaks into impromptu movement during downtime, sometimes matched with him mumbling counts, freestyle phrases, or just sound effects under his breath. A habit choreographers and members have noted keeps him in rhythm even when nothing's playing. Fans have also pointed to countless live broadcasts where J-Hope, mid-conversation, will suddenly compliment himself out loud after a joke lands or a dance move hits clean, laughing at his own reaction before anyone else even responds. It's such a specific, repeated pattern that ARMY started referring to it affectionately as J-Hope being J-Hope, a phrase that's appeared across fan edits and clip compilations for years. What makes this genuinely distracting on camera is the unpredictability of timing. You never know when he'll suddenly burst into a one-liner about his own dance, laugh at his own joke a beat too early, or narrate a mundane task like it's a stadium performance. Interviewers covering solo promotions for his 2018 mixtape Hope World and later releases have noted the same energy carries into professional settings, where he'll often hype up his own answers mid-sentence before finishing them. It's a habit built entirely on genuine enthusiasm rather than performance, and that authenticity is exactly why it never feels repetitive to longtime viewers. Every clip feels like catching him in an unguarded, real moment, which is precisely why ARMY can't scroll past a J-Hope self-hype clip without stopping to watch the whole thing. Number 4. The napping legend, Suga. Long before August D became known for razor-sharp lyrics and blunt honesty, Suga built an entirely different reputation within BTS, the group's most prolific sleeper, a habit so consistent it's been documented across nearly a decade of content. Members have repeatedly shown clips of Suga falling asleep in vans, on sets, backstage before performances, and even during interviews, earning him the long-running nickname Min Suga, the human hibernation machine, a joke the group itself has kept alive for years. This isn't a rare occurrence caught once for laughs. It's a pattern so reliable that during Run BTS episodes, camera crews have specifically panned to check on him during downtime, almost expecting to find him asleep, and more often than not, they do. RM and Jungkook have both mentioned in interviews that Suga has an almost supernatural ability to fall asleep within minutes, regardless of noise, lighting, or how uncomfortable the location seems. A skill that became something of a running gag across Bon Voyage trips abroad. What makes this genuinely fascinating is the contrast it creates with his public identity. Suga is known for producing some of BTS's most emotionally raw and philosophically dense music, from August D to solo tracks addressing mental health, anxiety, and burnout with striking honesty. Yet, off-camera, his most consistent, camera-documented behavior is the complete opposite. Total, immediate relaxation the second there's a spare moment. Fans have pointed out that this juxtaposition makes the habit endearing rather than just funny because it hints at how demanding the group's schedule actually is and how differently each member copes with exhaustion. During numerous fan-recorded moments and behind-the-scenes footage from world tours, Suga has been seen sleeping upright, sitting on the floor, and even mid-conversation, drifting off before finishing a sentence, moments members have laughed about openly rather than hidden. Jin in particular has teased him about this on numerous broadcasts, joking that Suga could sleep through an earthquake, a comment that's been repeated so often by fans, it's become shorthand for describing his napping ability. What keeps this habit fresh for ARMY, even after years of the same joke, is how unpredictable the timing is. You genuinely never know if the next clip of Suga will show sharp, deadpan wit during an interview, or him completely checked out mid-frame, having fallen asleep sitting upright without anyone noticing until the camera catches it. It's a habit built on real exhaustion and real personality, not performance. And that authenticity is exactly why every new Suga Asleep Again clip still gets clipped, shared, and laughed about by fans who somehow never get tired of watching him do exactly that. Number 3. The serial cleaner, Jimin. While most idols are known for their stage presence or vocal ability first, Jimin has built an entirely separate reputation within BTS for something far less glamorous, an almost obsessive habit of cleaning, tidying, and organizing anything within reach, documented across years of reality content and member testimonies. RM, Jin, and Suga have all independently confirmed in interviews and Run BTS episodes that Jimin is the most meticulous member when it comes to shared spaces, often straightening items, wiping surfaces, or reorganizing things without being asked, sometimes mid-conversation, as if the impulse to tidy overrides whatever else is happening around him. This isn't a soft background trait. It's been shown repeatedly as something that visibly distracts the people around him. Members have joked on camera that during dorm life segments and behind-the-scenes footage, Jimin would notice a crooked picture frame or scattered items and stop whatever he was doing to fix it, even during filming, prompting camera crews to occasionally catch him mid-task instead of in the planned shot. Jungkook, who has shared a close bond with Jimin since debut, has mentioned in multiple interviews that Jimin's tidiness borders on perfectionism, extending beyond physical spaces into how he approaches choreography and vocal practice, repeating movements or notes obsessively until they meet his own standard, a work ethic members have described as both admirable and at times exhausting to watch because of how relentless it is. This strive for precision connects directly to widely discussed moments from Jimin's trainee years, where he's spoken openly about feeling like he had to work harder than others to keep up, a narrative that adds real emotional weight to why his need for order and control shows up in even the smallest daily habits. Fans have pointed to numerous fan cam and behind-the-scenes clips where Jimin, even during casual moments backstage, straightens his own or another member's clothing, adjusts microphone cords, or rearranges small objects on tables absent-mindedly, a pattern so consistent that ARMY started referring to it as Jimin's cleaning arc across fan-edited compilations. What makes this trait so distracting on camera isn't just the act itself, but the timing. It often happens in the middle of serious interviews or high-energy segments, creating a visible contrast between the moment's tone and Jimin quietly fixing something in the background, which viewers frequently point out only after rewatching a clip multiple times. Members have said they've grown used to it to the point of predicting it, with Jin joking that you can hand Jimin anything messy and expect it organized within minutes without a word being said. It's a habit rooted in genuine perfectionism rather than performance, tied closely to Jimin's well-documented work ethic and attention to detail. And that authenticity is precisely why ARMY keeps rewatching old clips just to catch him quietly tidying something no one else even noticed needed fixing. Number 2. The Art House Wanderer, V. Long before Layover and his solo jazz-inflected sound became a global talking point, V have already built a well-documented reputation inside BTS for something quieter but just as distinct. A habit of drifting off mentally mid-conversation, staring at random objects, or wandering physically toward whatever catches his eye, often mid-interview or mid-schedule, a trait members have openly discussed for years. RM and Jin have both mentioned on multiple broadcasts that V possesses an almost involuntary pull toward aesthetics, meaning he'll pause conversations to admire lighting, architecture, or even the way a shadow falls across a room, sometimes to the visible confusion of whoever he's talking to. This isn't framed by members as absent-mindedness in a negative sense. It's consistently tied to V's well-documented passion for photography and visual art, interests he's spoken about extensively, including his own photography contributions to BTS content and his personal Instagram, where his eye for composition has been noted by fans and photographers alike. During Run BTS episodes and Bon Voyage trips, camera crews have repeatedly caught V stopping mid-task to photograph something unrelated to filming, whether it's a flower, a building, or an unexpected reflection, a habit that's become so recognizable that members now anticipate it rather than question it. Jungkook has described in interviews how V will sometimes go quiet for a stretch during group activities, only to reveal later he was mentally composing a shot or thinking about color and framing, a detail that adds real context to why his focus seems to drift the way it does. This aesthetic wandering connects directly to another well-known trait, V's deep, publicly discussed love of art history and classical music, including his appreciation for Baroque art and painters like Vermeer, interests he's spoken about during interviews, and which fans have traced through his personal style choices and even set designs in his solo work. What makes this habit genuinely distracting to watch is the contrasts between V's usual playful, deep-voiced humor and these sudden, quiet shifts into visual fascination, a tonal switch so immediate that fellow members have joked they can tell exactly when Artist V has taken over from Goofy V just by watching his eyes shift focus. Fans have compiled years of these micro moments, a paused sentence, a lingering stare at scenery, a sudden reach for his camera, into an entire genre of edits dedicated purely to V noticing beautiful things, a phrase that's become shorthand across ARMY communities for this exact behavior. It's a habit rooted in real, consistently documented artistic sensitivity rather than any performance for cameras, and that sincerity is exactly why viewers can't help but pause every clip just to see what quietly caught his attention this time, waiting for the moment his focus drifts somewhere the rest of the room hasn't even noticed yet.
Number 1. The human sound effects machine, Jungkook. Here it is, the habit so consistently ridiculous that members themselves can barely get through describing it without laughing. And it's this. Jungkook narrates his own actions with sound effects, out loud, constantly, whether he's lifting weights, eating, walking, or just existing in a room full of cameras. This isn't a one-time bit. It's been documented across years of Run BTS episodes, BangDAN bombs, and live broadcasts, to the point where members treat it as one of his most identifiable quirks. RM and Jin have both pointed it out on camera multiple times, describing how Jungkook will grunt, hum, or make an explosion-style sound effect while doing something as simple as picking up an object or finishing a workout rep completely unprompted and seemingly without him even realizing he's doing it. What makes this genuinely funny, rather than just quirky, is the sheer randomness of when it happens. During serious interviews, mid-answer, Jungkook has been caught letting out a small sound effect after making a point, as if punctuating his own sentence with something between a laugh and a cartoon noise, leaving interviewers visibly trying not to react. Jimin, who's known Jungkook since their earliest trainee days, has said in multiple interviews that this habit has been present since debut, describing it as just how Jungkook processes excitement, whether that excitement is from finishing a difficult dance move, winning a game during Run BTS, or simply reacting to something funny someone else said. This connects to a broader, well-documented part of Jungkook's personality, his intense physicality and competitive streak, both frequently shown through his love of working out, gaming, and pushing himself in challenges during group content, where the sound effects tend to spike the most, almost like an internal hype system that leaks out involuntarily whenever adrenaline kicks in. Fans have pointed to specific viral clips, his exaggerated grunt after finishing a difficult vocal run in rehearsal footage, or the sudden shpow noise he makes after nailing a basketball shot during Run BTS segments, as proof this isn't performance. It's just Jungkook's default reaction wired straight from instinct to sound. Suga has joked on camera that you can tell how well Jungkook thinks something went purely based on which sound effect comes out, turning it into an unofficial scoring system the other members now recognize and reference themselves.
What ties this all together, and exactly why it lands as the funniest habit on this list, is the contrast between Jungkook's polished, controlled image as BTS's meticulous, technically gifted golden maknae, and these completely unfiltered, almost childlike noises that slip out the second he's not consciously performing. It's a habit built entirely on raw, unscripted reaction rather than any camera awareness, and that unpredictability is exactly why ARMY can't help replaying these clips over and over, waiting for the next random sound effect to prove once again that even BTS's most disciplined member has zero control over the noises his own excitement makes.